Hello and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at Transformers Alpha Trion from Hasbro. Here we have two Alpha Trion figures. We have the Alpha Trion as he appeared in Transformers 1 as part of the core line of action figures from that film. The core line, of course, being aimed primarily at children. We have the basic figure here. He comes in what was the standard packaging for the core line of figures. We get a lot of the blues and all the various symbols and artwork used for promoting that film. Alpha Trion, we get open window box packaging of Alpha Trion, and then we also get a picture of his alt mode. Coming around the side, we get a group shot of the character of the lead characters from the film. The other side gives us a profile image of Alpha Trion himself, and then the back gives us legal bottom, more legal and barcode, and back also gives us a product shot of transforming this figure in 15 steps from Alpha Trion to Cybertronian Rhino, I guess. We also have the Studio Series version of Alpha Trion as he appeared in Transformers 1. This being the more collector, adult-focused line of figures. This comes in the standard Studio Series packaging, which is that black background, open window box packaging, so we can see the figure within. We get artwork of the character and its alt mode on the side. Transformers Studio Series Transformer 1 Alpha Trion. The bottom gives us our legal and barcode. The artwork continues round to the side, Transformers 1, and then the other side gives us a profile shot of the character as he appeared in the film. And then the back we get some more legal. We get a shot of the character as he appeared in the film, small bio along with a product shot. So the reason I have the two figures is they are actually quite distinctly different. We'll get a better look at them once we're open, but this Alpha Trion appears to be more of the character in the or the older version before he went to war. This is obviously the recovered version. You can even see in the packaging here, he's got that moss on his back. He's got some battle damage to him. So they are very two different looking characters despite being the same character from how he appeared in the film. Additionally, I have seen reviews for both of these, and while I really quite like the look of the robot mode for the Studio Series, I much prefer the alt mode for the baseline. But we will get a look at those as we get these opened and take a further look at them. So, without any further ado, let's get these opened and take a look. And here we have both of our figures out of the packaging, and this is how they come straight out of the packaging. We get our instructions. The core line comes with the two accessories strapped inside the box. You can see it's done in just a grey plastic with some blue paint on it to give the tail its energy effect. And then I guess this is going to be his horn, and it's done in the same style. The Studio Series has its accessories packed away in this little plastic baggie, which I must say annoys me. I miss the tissue paper they were using. I always felt that was not only a little more eco-friendly, but looked nicer as well. So as we can see, taking this all out of the packaging, this has got a number of Energon horn spikes. So that appears to be all of the spikes. So we get one long one, then what appears to be 3 horn spikes. I'm not quite sure what you want to call them, in a slightly smaller style. And then we also get the Energon tail. It is quite a bit bigger than the core line accessory, and it's done in a translucent plastic, where this is done in a solid plastic and painted. Both figures, as we've seen, are strapped to card backs. The Studio Series is in that standard card backing insert we've seen on a lot of all the other new figures for this year, with that various symbols and logos throughout, while the core line comes on a much brighter packaging, obviously a lot more appealing for kids. You've got sort of a Cybertron background, almost a bit like the Velocitron Speedway from that film. And then you've got sort of bright Energon coming out from the center where the figure is and spreading outwards. It's quite appealing to look at. Oh no, sorry, you come with 4 ones. One had fallen by the wayside. But yes, here we have the 2 figures. Size-wise, the core line is about 5.5 inches, while the Studio Series is about an inch taller at 6.5. So there is quite a size difference between the 2 figures. But again, there is also a bit of a price difference between these. I think this figure was about 15 to 20 quid, where this one was about 20. Comes in at the £25 mark usually. You might be able to pick it up a little cheaper if you shop around, but yeah. So you would expect this to have, some more paint apps, a little hot taller, etc., etc. But here we have the 2 figures, and let's take a look at them. So as I said before opening this one, this is definitely more of a non-battle worn version. Perhaps as he would have been prior to the events of the film. He's got his tri-crown here, all fully intact. We get some really nice metallic paint on the face, and the center crown for the character. This comes down into more of a grey plastic. There is some nice metallic purple paint apps and pinkish paint apps throughout. We do get a purple plastic, which is also really quite nice. It's got a bit of a metallic sheen to it. I don't think it necessarily is, but it does have a nice look to it. So there is a lot of really nice paint apps on this, although the mold is quite simple to look at. There isn't a great deal of molded detail throughout. Additionally, we have his alt mode's head just sticking out on the back there, hanging down. So we do have that. Articulation, the head is on a ball joint and will look up. Doesn't really look down due to the position of the head, but you can get it turned fully around depending how you mess with it. The arms are on a ball joint and swivel fully around. The bicep is on a mushroom peg and gets a full twist there. Then we get a bend at the elbow. There is nothing at the hands at all. There is a swivel at the waist. You can also see that there is no paint up there. It just cuts off. Legs are also on a ball joint, so they come forward and back, out. There is a thigh swivel just above the knee rather than a little higher up, but you get swivel there, and you also get a bend. There is an ankle tilt there, and presumably for transformation the heel is also movable. However, there is no forward or back on the feet. He can grasp his accessories in his hands quite well. There is a peg here, but it's too small to fit those in, and same as these side panels, so it will only hold in the hand. We'll see in the instructions in a minute if there is a place to store these on the back, as there is sometime with the figures. Then we have Studio Series. Obviously he has all of the spike parts. He also comes with that whip, and it appears that one of the spikes will fit in there, and you may actually be able to get some of the others into the... Oh yeah, you can fit all of them in here, which is a nice touch. This allows obviously for the tail to become more of a energon mace almost. Again, fits in the hand. This one's actually a little tighter to fit. Oh, there we go. It's a tight fit, but it does fit in. We'll plug in the back if you want it to. As for the figure himself, he's got a strap piece of plastic which needs to come off. There we go. Get rid of that. And here we have our figure. Doesn't have the same level of metallic paint apps to the figure, but there's definitely a completely separate mold here with a lot more molded detail and paint apps throughout. So first off, the figure's definitely a little more screen accurate to what we saw, especially in that scene where our lead characters find Alpha Trion. You can see there's some green paint apps throughout for sort of moss growing on the figure. There's lots of dents and chips on the figure, which have been nicely done. There's lots and lots of molded detail on here. You can see there's definitely room for more of that moss paint app. There's a nice little bit there. Could have done with some more paint apps to bring out a lot of that molded detail, but it's not too bad. I do like the way the figure's been molded in such a way that he's got a lot of battle damage and dents to him. Would have been nicer if we could have had some sort of dry brush or highlights, you know, with maybe some rust or metallic scratches or something like that to really bring out the figure. However, I'm going to stress at this point, this is a £25 figure. It's you know, only £5 to £10 more than this figure was. So you're not going to expect huge levels of paint apps, you know. For the £25 price point, the paint apps we've got are nice. It just would have been nicer if we could have had something to bring out these other paint apps on the figure. But anyway, a lot of it's done in the grey plastic of sort of the undershell of the transformer, and then the armor bits are done over the top in that purple and pinks throughout. So there are some nice paint apps. The head sculpt's done in a purple plastic and then just sprayed silver on the front. I definitely prefer how the head sculpt has been done on this figure, with it being fully painted. Certainly would have liked to have seen some more paint apps on this one, because as it looks, it kind of just cuts off and looks a little weird. But we do get the broken horn here of his crown. We get that blue for the eyes. Articulation wise, again, the head is on a ball joint and we'll get a full range of movement there. The arms are on hinge and swivels, so they get a full range of movement, and they are quite snug on mine, really quite tight. There is a bicep swivel closer to the elbow on a mushroom peg, and there is bend at the elbow. There's nothing at the wrists. So it looks like it's going to open for transformation, but there's no sort of swivel or bend at the wrists. There is a waist rotation, and the legs are on hinges and swivels, so we can get those going forward, get them going back and to the side. There is toe swivel on this figure. It will go up but it won't go down. Other than that, there is no ankle tiltage or anything like that. So articulation wise, the two figures are fairly similar in their abilities. We lose the ankle tilt but gain a toe swivel, whereas with this one we have the ankle tilt but no toe swivel. This would have been nice if we could have had some sort of ankle tiltage to it. But yeah, overall it's not a bad looking figure. I definitely prefer the look of the alt mode on this figure to that core line, and it would be interesting to compare the two in their alt modes. So with that in consideration, let's get down to transformation. First up, we have the core line Alpha Trion. He comes with standard instructions. And there is some storage for the weapons if you want them under the backpack. Oh yeah, I can see, so this can fit in like so if you want, and the horn can peg into one of the clips, so you can have that if you wish. Otherwise, transformation for the figure is done in 15 steps according to this. So let's take a look. So the arms come forward, and let's get that out of the way. Okay, so they come forward they come out and forward, and then they need to clip into the side of the chest. So just, we should do. There we go. Just about getting those in at the right angle. That comes in like so. The arms rotate. So the wrist rotation is here. but you actually need to rotate it at the... Well, this one rotates, seems to rotate freely, where this one is sticking. Oh no, they do rotate freely. I apologise. There we go. It's just sticking a little. So you can have that rotated like that. Rotate that like that. Then the paws will just hinge down like so. Back folds down like that. Then wants us to peg the horn into the center here, and this head will then supposedly close up like that and come over like that. Then we move down to the legs, and just before we do, there are peg holes here and here, so when it comes over, just make sure they clip in. Then moving down to the legs, the shin panels should come away. Okay, so they come out from the bottom and up, out from the bottom and up. We then bend our forearms and legs, bend down, bend back and forward, back and forward, so that those shins are back and forward like that. Then we just need to get our tail that pegs into the back there, and there we have the core line Alpha Trion transformed. It's a very simple transformation, but again, this is aimed at the younger children, so it's, you know, it's easy to do. I can't imagine many children struggling with that transformation. It's nice, it's simple. There's nothing to get frustrated with in any sort of way. Everything kind of just clips and folds together nicely. It'd be nicer if these what were the shin pads would clip into the legs just to keep them in place, but otherwise it's not a bad transformation at all. Articulation wise, because he's a beast, obviously changes. Unfortunately, these legs are pegged in, so technically they don't move forward. You can unpeg them, of course, and then you get the standard arm rotation if you wish. But if you want to keep it posed like that, and pretty much the same with these legs, you can get the back forwards and the hinges at the knee moving, but there is limited articulation in this. We get some nice simple greys on the figure, which is done in the grey plastic with some nice molded detail in it. I will give it that. I really like this metallic pink they've used for the head. Really nice beast head sculpt. The horn's not too bad. Does look a little weird being just a lump of plastic, but it works for a kid's toy. So there we have Alpha Trion in his beast mode for the core line, and it's not too bad. As I said, I definitely prefer, from the reviews I've seen, I prefer the look of the figure, the beast mode in this one compared to the Studio Series, but we will see it in a moment. And on that note, we can then go to our Studio Series Alpha Trion and take a look at the figure within, or the transformation for the figure. So as we saw, the horn spikes all peg into the tail, mace, whatever you want to call it. Besides that, there is no storage for this beyond the being held in the arm. Would have perhaps been nice if there could have been some sort of peg or clip or something which just, you know, clipped on the side or the back or something like that. Would have been simple enough to do and would have been a nice touch, but it is what it is. So for transformation, we bring the backpack down, and actually before we start, just for comparison, this transforms in 16 steps, so we get a little more of an intricate transformation here, which you would hope for and expect in a more mature aimed line. But we have the backpack, which unclasps, he says, somehow. Okay, so this is supposed to hinge back, but it's not. Why is... Oh, there we go. So there's this peg here which is plugged in, and it's quite a snug fit. So you just got to get your nail in there and pull that back. And that drops away. Drops down like so. Then the beast mode head comes up, and I really like how the beast mode head is tucked and hidden away in this transformation. It hides it completely, whereas that baseline one, it's just a backpack. Okay, so that comes up, and then rotating this round, this should come down, and so it comes down, and then there's a hinge here which comes out and up. And definitely feel like I've missed something here. Like something's come away that shouldn't have. Or is that supposed to be up? Alright, so, sorry, my misunderstanding. The chest piece remains hinged at the top, and then everything else just drops down like that. That comes down. And hinges back up like so. The head comes up, rotates around, head rotates around, then okay, so this is on the swivel as well, so you want to bring it up and swivel it around so the Alpha Trion's robot head is at the back. Then this piece comes up, and there's a couple of clips here and here which fit these in. And then this lifts up, and we will have these pegs sliding into these sides here. So done and tucked away nicely. And it appears that the head, there we go. So that original clip then comes into this second hole on the back of the neck and just slides in like so, so you get a nice snug fit there. And then coming down to our arms, the sides hinge out, wrists, so the animal paws will come down and everything just rotates around. Same on this side, rotates around. Then these will clip back into position like so, and we can rotate our wrists like so. Then these come forward, and these pegs here on the side are going to plug into those holes on the side of the arms, which will, he says, come on, there we go, 1, 2, and just straighten those arms out so they're facing forward. Then our shin covers are going to hinge up on this one like they did on the core line. Hinge up like that. The feet come down, and then these heels will come in and clasp in. So toes up, heel down. Legs will so bring the legs down and then come back at the knees like so. And then we take our horns and tail, and they will just plug in. So the tail is going to go on the back of our figure there's a nice twisted hinge here, which then stores the tail. The larger horn works as, or the larger spike works as the horn for the beast head. And then these spikes just plug into the sides of our figure's arms and legs, or what were the arms and legs, to give this effect of energon pouring out of him, which we did see in the movie, so that's a really nice touch. And there we have the Studio Series Alpha Trion in its beast mode. And it's not a bad figure. Actually, having it in hand, I definitely think it looks a lot better than it did in the reviews. There's, we get the body here with some simple grey plastic, but there's some really nice molded detail throughout. We can still see all of that battle damage. Oh, excuse me. That battle damage. I like the head sculpt on this and the jaw. It's hinged, which is a nice touch. You can get the head coming forward a bit. It does result in the chest cavity moving forward as well, but you can get the head further up if you want. And get that opened. He has the spiked horn there, which are done in a thin rubber plastic. I find it amusing that the spikes on the collector line are of a gummier plastic than the horns on the core line. Clearly they don't trust adults not to impale themselves on this, which given a lot of people today is something actually I probably wouldn't trust either. The one thing I don't like is the way the legs are bent here. What I really like about the core line is that you have a double bend at the knees, so not only do they hinge down, but they then hinge back and down again, so you get a lot more of a squat looking beast, whereas this kind of just looks like a person on their hands and knees. This really does need another hinge just here to drop those down and get. Again, if we had that, this would be near perfect. It's just this here, and as a result, it does look really weird in my opinion, which is the reason I prefer the beast mode on this figure. It's neater, it tidies away a little more. But yeah, we have this really nice looking figure. It does need some work in terms of paint apps, which I've said before, but again, we are talking about a £25 figure. You're not going to ever get every look and little nook and cranny full of paint apps. Overall, I actually like this figure a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's a decent figure. I may end up customizing this at some point just to bring out all of those highlights, because I think it really does deserve it. The core line is a fun little figure for kids. I think kids could have a lot of fun with this. It's a simple enough transformation. It still has some nice posability out of it. And for that sort of £15 price point of a kid's toy, I don't really have any complaints or gripes about this. I mean, if I was to pick one, it would be that backpack for the head. I understand why it's there for a simple transformation for kids, but I feel like something else could have been done somehow just to tidy that up. But otherwise, it's a decent figure, and there we have the two of them. So there we have Alpha Trion in the Studio Series and core figure, and they are decent enough figures. If you have a child, I can certainly recommend this one. If you are more of a collector and you want a Alpha Trion as he appeared in the Transformers 1 film, it's not a bad figure. Just be mindful that some of that molded detail could do with being brought out through paint apps, and that the legs on this figure look a little weird. But other than that, it's a decent figure. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, remember, freedom is a right, not a privilege.